We're not out of here in 17 minutes.
All right, call to order. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Board President, to advise members of the audience that they may address the board regarding agenda items after the superintendent's report. Only those members whose names and addresses are listed in the sign-in sheet available prior to the start of the meeting will be recognized during new business. The chairperson will limit discussion to any item by the public to 3 minutes in order for the board to expeditiously conduct its business. Since this is a special meeting, Mr. Dolan, you're gonna keep your superintendent's report short, right? Go ahead, take it away.
Guys, brutal. No, I mean, and is this working?
Yes.
Is this working? It's not working. Steve,
No.
you're working? Joe's working, Jessica's working? You know, during, I don't think it's working.
Making the sound.
Yeah, it's making a sound.
Just speak a little loud.
Hello? Steve, try yours?
Yeah.
No, yours is working. Say something, say hello.
Hello? No. No, right, it's not working?
Is the speaker here
How
on?
could all of them not be working?
Yeah.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
No, it's not working.
Is it on?
Oh,
The amp's on?
well, there's a whole bunch of lights going.
Technology in the classroom. For the live.
I hope I don't-
Okay, great.
I could speak loudly, but let's see if we can make it work.
Sorry.
Plugged in. Is there a volume over there to the left?
So don't ever touch these, so make sure I'm looking at it.
Alright, we're just gonna have to speak loud.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Pray. Number one rule, check the mics, check the mics.
Can you tell if the volume is on the YouTube? Yeah, it is.
Coming out of the camera, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll just, we'll speak a little louder and hope you guys can all hear. And again, you know, the superintendent's report that we sent out last week, we're trying to stick to a script to try to keep the information moving in a clear fashion. There were several topics, and I'll just update you. It's official, the Chromebooks and laptops have arrived. The district is now, will be a one-to-one device district by the end of the week, which is a good thing. We apologize. I spoke to several people about Election Day tomorrow, but it is a chance for us to test drive our emergency plan if we have to close the school. You know, you've seen this across the island where 1 or 2 schools may have to close and we have to go virtual. So tomorrow is a chance. We know the kindergartners and the fifth graders haven't received their school devices yet, but they arrived Friday and they will be handed out this week. But we made a tough decision. We know some people may have had some plans for Election Day. We apologize in advance. And honestly, sometimes personal family matters like doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, you know, take precedent over school. But again, you know, given these tough times, sometimes we have to make tough decisions, and given the nature of, you know, the way things are, sometimes we have to make decisions, you know, I don't want to say on the fly, but at the last minute. You know, we don't like to do that. We don't like to put people in a tough spot. And like I said, we apologize for it, but this will help us moving forward, gauge where we are technologically in case we do ever have to go to a shutdown. And again, now I want to talk about a couple creative things. The EJ Autism hoodie this year will be live streamed on YouTube December 3rd from 7 to 10 o'clock. You know, the hoodie is a great event. Personally, I'm disappointed because it was a chance to go and relax and mix and mingle, you know, with some people that for a great cause. But think about what I just said. We can't be together right now. Too many people in a room is not safe. You know, you capped at 50. I know B and her crowd, you know, she brings in 300-400 people a year. So they made an adjustment and they're going to YouTube. So we encourage all of you, there's a flyer that we sent out, we'll resend it. If you can join the hoodie on December 3rd, and I know B, and I know that next year she's looking forward to being live again once everybody's healthy and we're able to all, you know, once we can put 300 people in a room again, or 400 people. And that moves me to the senior events. We are having a senior breakfast this week, and, you know, we are still in a hybrid model, so it is going to be split. It's not what we want, but we're also struggling with how to celebrate the senior class and bring them all together. Quite frankly, you know, there are government restrictions to the numbers of kids we can feed at one time at this kind of event. I will say this, Mr. Bernard, Mrs. DeVersa, Mr. Seifert, class advisors, Mrs. Boucher, and Mrs. Quigley are working with the class officers and the student leaders to plan creative events. You know, usually at this time of year, we've had homecoming, we've had a senior banquet, and I remember in the Dolan household right around November 1st, it was, you know, fighting with the boys to make sure their college applications and the Common App was getting completed. In other words, there was a tremendous amount of distraction in the house. Right now, there are other things going on, and we're very sensitive to what our students are missing out on. We know the junior year was cut short, but I'm very confident that we're going to have homecoming, we're going to have some kind of banquet, we're going to have a spirit week, might be in the spring. And we may have to put, you know, depending on weather and weather concerns, homecoming may be wrapped around another event, not necessarily the traditional football game. But I saw last year's senior class, and I marveled at how many good things happened and the good feelings and the safe and healthy way they approach these events. You know, I've gotten word, been told that the yearbook format is going to change. And it's actually going to get a little more personal. We might not have as many group pictures, but it looks like the seniors are each going to get a little more space and a little chance to express themselves. So I ask and I continue to say, you know, hey seniors, 2021, this is your class. Work with your advisors, work with your administrators. They want you to celebrate. They want you to create memories. And you know what? They might be different than the ones we're used to, but they can be every bit as memorable and every bit as important. So, you know, senior class, I'm looking forward to watching you celebrate in a sort of your unique way. All right, so stay tuned, and I think there are some really nice ideas out there. Which brings me to my last point. We discussed at the last meeting that, you know, we are looking to reopen and come back to the high school and the middle school. So there will be a form up on Parent Square tomorrow. If you would like to go virtual until the end of January, you know, you fill out this form so that, you know, if you're not comfortable coming back to school full-time, you know, I've been saying this over and over again. The original surveys, approximately 67% of the community wanted us to open up fully, 25% wanted a hybrid, and 8% wanted virtual. We've reached a point now where we believe, and it's going to take some patience, and we're going to be putting up the dividers on the desks, and we're going to, you know, the mask wearing is going to become, you know, a little more stringent, but we're moving towards December 1st, bringing back the high school and the middle school. Mr. Brennan at the middle school and Mr. Bernard at the high school have already begun to put together, teams to begin help planning for this. The dividers have been ordered. We will be bringing in some extra custodial aides or substitute custodians to help with cleaning. We said it at the last meeting. The hybrid creates a tremendous amount of confusion, tremendous amount of anxiety and angst. The live streaming, not perfect, but it seems to be getting better and better. A big thank you to the teachers. And I do want to make it clear, the Mondays in December and January are going to remain virtual. And the live instruction will be from Tuesday to Friday, giving us a chance to evaluate, where we're going, how we're going, and what the COVID numbers are. So, ladies and gentlemen, just to quickly recap, thank you for your patience tomorrow as we go virtual. The Chromebooks are here, laptops are here. We will officially be a one-to-one device community at the end of the week. Let's look at EJ Autism as a great example on how to be creative in a COVID world, and that should inspire our seniors to, let's find, maybe create some new traditions. And then last, but certainly not least, we need to know right away, we plan on bringing the high school and the middle school back fully on December 1st. If you're not comfortable with that and you would like to go virtual, please go on to Parent Square tomorrow. It'll be up. You have until the end of next week so that we will know who's going to be virtual and who's going to be in school, and that'll help us further with the planning that we have to do. And I want to thank the teachers and I want to thank the administrators and the board. None of this has been easy. I'd like to thank the community for, again, you being supportive and patient. And this is the next step to trying to get back to a normal educational world here in East Islip. So that's the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dolan. All right, moving on to personnel. Actually, we have a board-related action. Be it resolved, the Board of Education accepts the resignation of trustee Christopher Nicolia as board trustee effective November 2nd, 2020. Get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If we could just thank Mr. Nicolia for the last year of his service. And we wish him the best in the future and good luck.
Okay, certified personnel. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the resignations, terminations, leave of absence, position abolition, of employment appointments, tenure appointments, and salary changes in accordance with applicable provisions of education and civil service law as cited in the certified personnel attachment. Get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Non-certified personnel, be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the resignations, terminations, leave of absence, position abolition, employment appointments, tenure appointments, and salary changes in accordance with applicable provisions of education and civil service law as cited in the non-certified personnel attachment. I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Revised school calendar for this current school year. Be resolved upon the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of superintendent of schools, approves the revised school calendar as attached. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
What were the changes? I'm trying to see where it's different. Is it any different than the previous one?
Unless it was labeled 2008, 2009.
Yeah, election day.
It's election
Election day
day.
only?
Yeah,
Okay.
the change tomorrow to an instructional day.
Okay, and we need to stay flexible with our days off as well, right? In the event that we have to make up additional days for some unforeseen circumstance.
I'm gonna be very careful how you say this, but if you saw the news tonight, and I'm not saying we're gonna do this, so please, I'm just saying, the colleges are already looking at their spring breaks. And a couple of them changed their spring breaks to, instead of a week off, they're gonna create a couple of long weekends or intersperse some days off to discourage people from traveling to hotspots. I'm not advocating for that. I literally just heard it, but as Mrs. Carney just said, when we have to close, we have to go virtual. If we have to close and we can't go virtual, we're not sure what the state is gonna do. So this is a simple change. We're just making election day an instructional day. But down the road, right now, anybody that can tell me where we're gonna be February 1st, I'd prefer that they send us the lottery numbers. We have to be cautious, we have to be flexible, and you have to understand that.
But we need to get the calendar out in a more timely fashion or send a robocall about any changes that are, right?
Agreed, that agreed. Yeah.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
UPK settlement agreement. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes and approves an agreement with the East Islip Teachers Association that was executed by the association on October 22nd, 2020. And a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Training. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the contract with Kristen Lonegro, MS Ed ATC to conduct adult and child CPR AED and standard first aid certification training at the cost of $110 per employee, not to exceed 8 employees, to be held on November 3rd, which is tomorrow, 2020. Got a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? I hate that it costs this much because you can go to the Red Cross for this training for a fraction of it, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. All in favor?
Aye.
That's it for action in our business. Old business. Are there any old business? No? New business. As we accepted earlier, Trustee Nicolia's resignation, we will be nominating and appointing someone for the remainder of this year for his seat. And hopefully that person that we appoint will decide to run in May for the remaining 1 year of his term. His term does not expire until 2022. So just a little housekeeping that we'll be discussing that. And we will hopefully have an appointment of someone willing and able to make the commitment to be on the board for the rest of the year. So, any other new business? No? Okay. And we had one person. Public,
Guess that's me.
you're on,
Mr. O'Boyle.
you're on.
Hi, Patrick O'Boyle. Thank you guys once again. This is not easy what you guys are doing, and we're all making it up as we go and finding new things to do. So I appreciate everything everyone's doing. Just first thing I took a note on. So we're not fully going to go open. We're only going to go open 4 days a week for secondary. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, for the first.
For December, January.
For December, January,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna evaluate where we're at.
Yeah, no. I said that's fine. I was just putting it up. I know I'm under the time constraint here. So, my concerns asking my daughter's high school daughter doesn't have any concerns. Middle school daughter, Daddy, I'm on a bus with a kid in every seat. What's going to happen to that? Like when there's other kids. I'm just throwing these out there. Like that's just a concern. I heard we talking about lockers. As a dean of a high school, very concerned because those are the hot spots. Kids all congregate to lockers, so that's another concern. Food distribution. How are we going to do that? If we're going to have no mask breaks, so food has to be a spot where there's mask breaks. How are we possibly going to get all those kids into spots that they can take off their masks? Big concern, especially if we're not going to have regular mask breaks like we can do now.
Those are, of
No,
course, those are both,
yeah,
yep.
these are just things, and I know you're all thinking about them. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that.
We didn't say no mask breaks, but we're gonna have to.
Work them in somehow, yep, okay. Orchestra classrooms, I know that those seem to be very crowded. like packed out already, so if we're doubling up the amount, how do we do that in orchestra? And that's a personal thing, that's just my daughter, so, that's, I'm just saying, but it's the things I've been asking my daughters about. The other one, I've noticed in my school already, when it comes to the nurse. So we have to have the other room, where kids, if they have any kind of symptoms, we have to move the kids to the other room. So now all of a sudden, we've got double the amount of kids, and now we're gonna have double the amount of kids that say, I don't feel well, I have a fever, I've got this or that. Are we gonna put those double amount of kids into the same room, or are we gonna have another room on the outside? And that with COVID, I think is a big thing that we need to be worried about. I wanna thank you guys once again. My last question is this, is EI gonna have their own threshold? Or are you going to say, as some districts have, other districts haven't, well, it's not up to us, it's up to the Department of Health. Some superintendents have said, out of the abundance of caution, I am making this call, without the Department of Health telling them to make the call. That's gone on Long Island throughout all different districts. I don't want to put anyone under the gun right now, but that is something to think about. There are some districts that when there's some numbers or some cases, they say on a Friday or a Monday, you know what, out of the abundance of caution, we're gonna close for the day. And then other districts say, well, the Department of Health told us we don't have to close, so we're gonna continue going. You all read Newsday, and not to get involved in the politics of it, but there's a district very close to us that has had a problem. And you saw the repercussions of that problem when it comes to teachers. And as a teacher and as a parent, I fall on that side. I fall on the side of, wait a minute, I don't know, so you know what, for a day, maybe I should not go to work or keep my kids home from school. So I'm not asking you to tell me right now, but please, in the back of your minds, please think about that. Are we going to fall on the side of, wait, we're gonna wait for someone else to tell us, or are we gonna be the lead and speak up what we believe ourselves?
Could you give me an example of what you, in other words, if you're talking about a student is positive?
Okay.
Wait, let John just.
You know the district I'm talking about.
Just so you know, we always, the health.
I don't wanna
and
mention any
safety-
districts in public, I don't wanna.
Health and safety of the students and staff are the number one
Yes,
concern.
yes,
And our community,
yes,
so
yes.
that's always comes first, so.
And I believe
I
that.
can give you an example, because it is true. I mean, this is, and I'm in the process of, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm gonna get a chance to speak to every teacher individually over the next, it's gonna take another couple of months. And hearing, different concerns, but this particular one, the first time we closed, what happens is you get the phone call. Now, we were lucky, we get the phone call, I think it was the night of a board meeting, and I literally walked in, it was 5:00, and we had just found out, Mr. Bernard just found out, the team kicks into gear. Just so you know that everybody over here to my left has a role. Mr. Restivo is, our COVID cowboy, and Lisa's the director, but everybody has a role. And I called, Jess as the board president, but we didn't wait for the Department of Health. We said, look, we don't know. See, I remember the SATs was Saturday. What we did was, we closed that Friday, we just closed right away, to be safe. And I think that, for health and safety. And then the team very quickly and methodically got a tremendous amount of information, everything from classroom ceiling heights to number of kids in rooms and who was where and who came in contact. And the Board of Health meets at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we got the green light to do the SATs on Saturday. In fact, we probably could have opened on Friday if the Board of Health had told us, but we in that case decided that we don't know, and we're gonna make every decision based on the individual circumstances. We're certainly gonna work with the Department of Health, but if there's any doubt, there's no doubt that the people to my right, the board, will support what they bring back to us. So I'm very confident that, and it is confusing for the public, there's no doubt in my mind, because you see stories on the news, you read Newsday, and you don't have all the facts. and it's very frustrating, but the promise is, when in doubt, we're just gonna shut it down. And we feel much better now that we know everybody has a computer and we can simply go to virtual.
And thank you, that answer that you just gave me is the best answer as a father that I could hear, thank you so much, I
And
appreciate it.
as far as all your other stuff, with the exception of one thing, and I'm not gonna tell you which one it is, but we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning, all the other things have been already in the discussion stage and how we're gonna handle it. So, stay tuned, next board meeting, we'll have more details. And we'll also have an idea of how many people wanna go virtual till the end of February, till the end of January. So, it's a process, it's exciting and it creates a lot of anxiety, but the overwhelming majority of people wanna be, kids, parents, adults, they wanna be back in school. So we're gonna do it safely. And the big thing is, wearing these masks. And the shields help, but the masks are gonna be important. And we're going to have to be cognizant of the fact that people need breaks, but those breaks need to be controlled, they need to be limited. And I'm gonna tip my hat to the students. They wanna be back in school, and they have been very cooperative for the most part, so that's good.
Do you mind if I make one more comment? Can I make one more? Just real quick, and this is the dean of me saying it, and please get out to the parents as soon as possible. The repercussions for students not following the rules. And what I mean by that is, like, as we move forward, and if we're going to be back in school, let the parents know ahead of time, this is what's gonna happen. If your student, not the first time, I mean, I walk around the building, that's all I care about, hey, pull it up over your nose, just pull it up. But what if they don't? Let parents know ahead of time, because that can be a big flashback. We're in a very politically charged time. And just please get that out to the parents, what could happen. That's it.
Thank you. All right, any other public comment? No? All right, the next Board of Education regular business meeting will be held on Thursday, November 12th, 2020 at 8 p.m. A motion to adjourn?
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Every week.